Hi guys, so today this is the colors that were in my palette. Not all of them were used in this painting, but look at that color palette. I just sat there and mixed colors, and then I had some from before that I didn't use all of them. You know, you can still use your colors even if they've been sitting. I like to keep a piece of plastic wrap over mine, and it kind of keeps them fresh. You might have to refresh them with a little water, but they're still good. So I want to thank my supporters, Christine K, Leslie R, and Alexandra W. You know, you can help support my channel too and keep me bringing more art videos for you. There's a link to my PayPal in my description box, and that will keep these videos coming. And I do need your support, or you can visit my shop where you can buy a painting or a print. If you don't have the funds, share and support your favorite artist. And I wanted to say, do you remember white oleander? This beautiful puddle pour was done in these gorgeous red colors. Well, today I wanted to try to do the same type of pour on a 16-inch round canvas and see what happens. So I just started layering the colors. Now, I didn't put anything down on the board. The canvas. I didn't put anything down on the canvas. There was no white or any base coat. If you see my paintings, I tend not to do that. But there are reasons why you would want to put a base coat down. The main reason is to allow the paint colors on the top kind of slide over the top. And if you don't, then the paints kind of roll over each other or roll over the borders. When the paints roll over the borders, you get different effects than if they're sliding around on the top. So this is something to experiment with your paints. I like to have my paint colors roll over the borders, especially of metallic. That's how I get a lot of the pretty cells that I get. So you can see here I'm putting a border of black around all those gorgeous purple colors, maroons, crimsons. I have like a pearl and lavender, and then that is a metallic carbon black by Deco Art. And it's kind of a grayish black actually, so it's very pretty. So my hope in putting this bright robin's egg blue, and I think that's a manganese blue hue, all around the outside, is I'm hoping that if I decide to do the balloon rolls, part of the color that will be picked up is that beautiful blue, and it's going to kind of pop through. Remember, your balloon rolls, as you roll them, they pick up colors off of your canvas and reveal what's underneath. Now you see my puddle pours are not exactly totally the same. I don't want them totally the same. So I put a little bit of that metallic extreme sheen Deco Art lavender in one of the puddles. So there we have 3 puddles kind of in a triangle, surrounded by black and that obsidian gray metallic. And see how the colors, they're kind of rolling over the other colors. I want them to roll over the gray. But the reality is, I think I have enough paint that I get more of like the sliding effect than the rollover effect that I was kind of going for in the beginning. But that's okay. Just very, very, very slowly tilting. One thing I notice about the round canvases, and this was a learning experience for me, and I'm still learning in this video as I'm watching. You have to kind of tilt in a circle. Otherwise you get some really jagged lines. And I don't like the jagged lines, as you guys know. I don't like the lines that go back and forth and back and forth. So I love it that I didn't waste much paint. And I'm getting better and better at not wasting paint and putting just enough on my canvas to not just dump a bunch off. So it's pretty cool. It will happen if you guys are still learning. I wasted a ton of paint in the beginning, and it's totally normal. And I should say paint mixture, because when I use my golden fluids, you guys, I'm only using like a third paint, or maybe, sometimes just a quarter of paint, and the rest is just the medium I use, whatever that is, if it's gloss medium or Floetrol or a combination thereof. Sometimes I'll use a little shot of glue. One thing that got brought up in the last couple videos, people saying that I'm not showing my colors being mixed, and I'm not showing how I layer my colors and all of those things. And I totally understand that, there's just going to be times I'm not showing those things, but I want you to know that, and I say this extremely humbly, sometimes I feel like I'm just lost in a connection to my muse, and what I would say by that is just like the connection to the universe, or that energy, that all-powerful energy, godlike energy, whatever you want to call it. And when I'm painting, even when I'm mixing colors, it's like I just kind of get lost in it, and I know, like, the more I interrupt that with worrying about the camera angles, or writing down, colors or paints I used or things like that, it's more interruptive to that process. So I try to hope that people still get something valuable from watching techniques, from watching someone create something beautiful, or sharing my little tips and tricks. And so that's my hope for anyone that watches my channel. And I am not apologetic necessarily for the way that I paint. It's just the way I paint. So I hope that, it's enjoyed by everyone. I think I'll resonate with certain people, and I'm okay with that. So you guys, look on the left side right there. Look at those pretty gray cells developing. That's the metallic paint, that Deco Art Extreme Sheen. And I want you to notice, look how muddy my balloon rolls are. If my balloon rolls start to get really muddy after 3 or 4 passes, that tells me I need to add some colors in there on my balloon. I'm just adding some white right now because I feel like there's some pretty colors that will pop through if I can just brighten up some of those colors. Now remember, I put that beautiful manganese blue hue all around the outside, and that's still kind of hiding under there towards the bottom of the canvas, and I'm hoping it's gonna come up. And the thing is, you have to get pretty close to the bottom of the canvas. See, you can see it just kind of peeking out every now and again, but I also layered black around it, so that was kind of a mistake on my part because the black overtook some of that beautiful blue. So, you know, these are all learning experiences. Someone said in a comment, "Hey, I'm new, and could you please show more fails?" And I thought, haven't you looked at like most of my paintings? Like halfway through, they're pretty much failures. At some point, I fail almost on every painting. Ooh, look at that balloon roll. I love that right there. It's so pretty. Sometimes you just nail it, you know. But I just had to laugh because I'm like, oh my gosh, look at, like, most of my paintings are failures at some point, and you know what you do is you learn how to save it, and that's just comes from, you know, practicing your craft or whatever. But you know, if you look at all the people that are pretty good at this medium, at some point, you know, their paintings don't always look absolutely perfect, but you can save it. Now, I'm not getting enough of the blue. It's kind of irritating me, so I decided to just go ahead and add some because I really want that color in there, and I think it'll provide like a nice little pop and a little contrast. So, and it does. So I'm just getting a pretty little contrast of blue right there. If you guys are not wiping off your balloon between each roll, you're gonna get a transfer of color. So if you're having trouble with your balloon rolls, that's one thing I would definitely suggest is, you know, wiping off your balloon. It's kind of a pain and it takes a long time because I really try to get it not totally clean, but pretty clean and pretty dry so it can pick up more paint. And that's a little trick if you haven't heard it before. But see how it's pulling some of the purples and the reds into the white? That's where you get those beautiful overtones, and I just love that look. You guys, tonight I painted without a camera, and as I've been saying for a while now, I am definitely moving through a transition period in my life, and you know, it's been kind of an emotional time, and I mean the last couple of months as I work through, you know, some loss, and I found tonight that I just didn't want the pressure of the camera, and I wanted to experiment with some things that I'm not sure about, so I just tried a bunch of stuff. Not anything you could really make a video on, but I think I found a technique that I'm really, really, really excited to share, and so it really rejuvenated me tonight after a day of feeling kind of lost. So I just have to say, you know, if you're having a bad day and you think you don't have the energy to paint, just push yourself to do it. Sometimes, man, it helped me so much tonight just to I don't know, I guess, like, you know, be in touch with my muse and just let go. It was very freeing and very reassuring and life affirming, I guess. I felt somewhat renewed to do it. So I encourage all of you to do that. So this painting, I turn it all the way around in every direction, and I just kind of look, and it has a beautiful symmetry and a lovely composition. You know, I love the gold connecting those two balloon roll flowers right that from the right to the lower bottom. And it reminds me of, you know, the artist formerly known as Prince, which is probably one of my very favorite all-time artists. I just adore him. Here's a video of a close-up, and I used a lot of very shimmering pigments, but see that extreme sheen gray? I think it's called carbon. I'm sorry, I threw away the bottle, so I don't know. I think it's called carbon black, but look how beautiful, metallic, shimmery it is. And I just really love the way this turned out. It dried a little bit darker because I used a lot of the Deco Arts. And the Deco Art paint, they don't dry the same way like the golden fluids dry. Goldens tend to dry almost 100% true. The Deco Arts and some of the other craft paints, they dry a little darker, but it really doesn't matter. It just, it's so pretty. Look at that balloon roll, that flower. Oh my gosh, so pretty. My camera work is not great here, you guys. I'm sorry. And I love that one. I love the way this one turned out. Oh my gosh. This was a really fun, easygoing painting, and it's an easy way to do a puddle pour. It's an easy beginner technique, this one. You can hardly go wrong because your paints don't mix that much. But you guys, if you love this painting, it's going to be up in my shop. You can make it yours at heathermaderart.com. And it has not been varnished, but it will get a glossy varnish, so it'll look a lot like that when it's varnished. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you have a great day, and I can't wait to make more art videos just for you. Don't forget to subscribe and hit all notifications so I can make more art videos just for you.